Neurodevelopmental disorders come in the form of disorders that normally hinder your development. It would be intellectual disabilities, communication disabilities, autism disabilities, ADHD, and specific learning disorders, along with motor disorders. And so they all initially start off in the form of mild, moderate, severe, and profound. They'll also go into different types of developmental delays in the form of intellectual disabilities. Communication disorders similarly follow this level of severity with language disorders, speech sound, childhood onset, such as stuttering. And then you have socio-pragmatic communication and unspecified disorders. So just to let you know, there's a lot of things that are at times comorbid, and things also can, you would think it's one, but can actually be something else, such as being inattentive and catonic. Both would be a person sitting silent, staring off into space. One, catonia, is just kind of like Michael Myers, where it's just silent, it's shut down, and you're completely not aware of what's going on in the person's mind. Inattentiveness, a person may just be daydreaming. They may be fidgeting, they may rock back and forth, or they may sit still. Now, a person who's catonic and a person who's inattentive, who's choosing to sit still, will seem similar, but there are slight differences. We also have the autism spectrum disorder. You have the people where it ranges to ask with things like Asperger's. You have the ADHD, they have combined presentations, predominantly inattentive, sometimes predominantly hyperactive. So one person may not pay attention while the other person might want to be the center of attention and always do something different. Most of the time when you have ADHD, it alternates. So you're inattentive, and then you're hyperactive, and then you're hyperactive, then inattentive, and it fluctuates. But you can be prominently one more than the other, depending on the specific specifier. You have specific learning disorders. Some people have dyslexia, where they can't read numbers. You have or letters, because things seem backwards. Your 6 might look like a 9. Your B and your P's might get confused. Sometimes you confuse an A and an E. You have people who have issues with mathematics. They just can't get arithmetics. Like anything outside of 2 plus 2, they won't get it, or 2 times 2, they might not get it. Like if the math problem is like an extremely long formula, they just won't be able to retain parts of it. You have specific learning disorders, which is what I pretty much went over. My apologies. You have motor disorders. So that's issues with coordination. It can be a movement disorder. This can come from injury, but this can also come from birth, depending on, some people have genetic defects. Some people might just have broken a finger and it didn't heal correctly. So they might have an issue with writing out essays. And when it comes to, and that might lead to later on other problems like depression, or not wanting to write with your left hand if you're predominantly right-handed, but you broke your hand and it's never quite been the same. But those wouldn't really qualify for the DSM-5 because you have a medical reason as to how you got there. But at the same time, it's also worth looking into, because there may be something deeper that needs to be investigated. So always keep that in mind, that if it doesn't have a complete one-to-one translation, you still might want to take some things into consideration. Unless you have other types of tic disorders and other neurodevelopment disorders. I will go into schizophrenia and other psychotic disorders later.